Hey guys, so today we're gonna draw something super sweet and maybe something with frogs. I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking something ice cream themed. You probably already know, and so it is for me to decide now. But yeah, hopefully it's something super delicious because I'm feeling hungry, so let's go. Hey guys, welcome back. This is voiceover Caro, and of course, as always, we are diving deep into the sketching process. And this time I decided to start with the bowls, or I don't know, they're not bowls, right? Little dessert dishes, and as you saw, I needed some guidelines to make it perfect. And a little secret is that this is the second attempt of drawing this bowl or dish because the first one I didn't really do the guidelines and it felt a little wonky. I could have left it as is, but you know, being a little bit of a perfectionist, I could not let it slide. But for the second one, I didn't use the guidelines as you saw before, just because, you know, it's just a bunch of circles. But of course, just to make sure that we are drawing normal looking circles, I am drawing them fully and not just guessing where it would start and end. And yeah, it just makes the process a little bit easier, and then you don't have any mistakes that you only notice later, and the bowl isn't a little wonky looking. But of course, I also look for the center just to make sure everything is standing somewhat similar, symmetrical, you know, all that jazz. Okay, as you just saw, we got the new Arrtx markers. I think it's the pack with 120 acrylic markers, and you know, the color choices are really nice. I did, however, get one marker that was quite dry. I can let you know which one it is because I did use it for the glass part, but other than that, they were really smooth. And you know me, I really love some brush nibs. It is easier to blend with these nibs instead of a round nib, so I really love these kinds of acrylic markers. And as you saw as well, I had to do a little ASMR thing with touching the markers because I don't know, they package them so well that when you shake them a little or go with your hand, they make such a fun noise or sound that I want to touch them all day. So it's a little fidget for me. Okay, I will be super honest. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do frogs for these desserts because sometimes I just can't draw frogs, and I really do want to draw frogs. I don't know what's it about. Why am I having such a big struggle with them sometimes? But I think it's all in the mouth. I don't know why, but I think this time I finally got it, and it looks like a frog. I hope. Of course, if it doesn't, you can always let me know. But yeah, this time it went really well. You can see that I did a little sketch over a frog there for the cherry one because the face for the first one wasn't really working and I didn't like it. It was a bit too smushy, too not frog-like. Again, I'm having some struggles with the faces. But anyways, I went over with a HB pencil, or I think it is a 2B mechanical pencil, over this purple pencil, and I think I have mentioned it before, but this purple pencil is nice, but it doesn't erase easily. So I couldn't erase it fully, the frog, so I had to go over with another pencil just so I don't lose my thought process in the lines. But I love my purple pencil for the reason that if I do draw with alcohol markers, for example, they don't smudge as much as an 2B mechanical pencil, or just any graphite oh my god, graphite pencil. Yeah, because this paper is super smooth and it can smudge quite well, but I don't really mind smudginess. I think it adds to my process, or maybe I'm just a bit too lazy to care. But yeah, so that's why I use this purple pencil. I think another reason that could be a little bit of a funny one why I can't draw frogs easily is just because I have a little bit of a past with frogs. When I was super small and didn't understand the world, I used to play with frogs a lot, and not in a bad way, but just I used to collect them because I lived at the countryside, and in spring, or I guess early summer, there are a lot of tadpoles, and then they turn into little frogs, and there used to be a lot of them. Sometimes the whole street was just kind of moving because all the little frogs were just jumping around. So I used to collect them and play with them. And of course, as a child, there can be some little accidents, and so after all of that, I think I didn't really look at frogs the same way because I felt bad for what I did. We're not gonna go into details. Nothing bad, guys, I promise. But yeah, but now I really love frogs, and I think I just want to give them justice and just draw them very cutely and show them the light that they deserve, because I think frogs are one of the most interesting creatures to look at. I don't know why, because of their colors, their shapes, their glossiness, or not to look at, but also to draw. I don't know, I'm rambling. Anyways, so I decided to turn this cherry into a cherry frog because, what's more cute than like a little cherry on top than like a little cherry frog on top? At first, I actually was gonna just do a cherry, but I realized our big frog needs a little tiny friend, and they could be besties, or they could be, I don't know, it could be mom frog with her little tadpole frog. I guess it's not a tadpole, but maybe it was just recently. I don't know. You know me. My brain just goes and starts creating stories and whatnot. But yeah, I decided to do a little matcha ice cream with a little strawberry frog on top. I think those are the flavors that I've chosen for this frog. Also, I decided to make the eye yellow. Usually that's my go-to. And another thing that I love to do is to paint the eyes purple. I don't know why. I think it creates a lovely contrast between the eyes and everything else that's going on. Also, guys, a little plug, but my shop is finally relaunching after a little bit of a break that I have because I was moving houses. So the shop is up today. Hopefully, already before I uploaded this video. If not, you can just wait a little longer because there are still a few things I still need to do. But there are lots of new things that I'm adding, lots of new stickers, honestly, way more than I thought. And we also have this new keychain and a little cute pin, and I've never done pins and I hope you like them. And of course, as always, I will add a little sticker if you get the pin, or a little free sticker for the keychain as well. So yeah, I'm super excited to show these new things to you. Okay, we are on to the second frog, and this one is inspired by a custard pudding. I just love custard pudding colors. They are so cute. I just love in general like the breadsy warm tones whenever I draw, like bread, bagels, or anything in that color scheme. I love. I have no clue why, but it's just so fun to just sometimes have these earthy-ish or even like sandy-ish colors. They just give a little bit of a curiosity or a little challenge for me to make it still nice and I guess bright and colorful, even though technically those aren't colorful colors, if you know what I mean. As you can see, I did lay already a color for the glass part, and as you could also see, I kind of forgot to film the whole filling it in part at the start. I think I again forgot to press record. Sometimes I just get too into it, or I don't know what happens, but I forget. But anyways, the techniques I'm using here is that I am shifting the frog's legs a little bit so that it does look like it's in the glass. I thought about distorting the legs a little bit more, but decided to just keep it as the little tiny shift to the right, and to also not add as much of the speckled texture to the legs, since it is since we see it through the glass, then you wouldn't see as much detail, right? So I'm also adding the custard, a little what is it? It's not a sauce, but the thing that's always underneath. Let me know if you know what it is called. Anyways, but I'm adding that in, and of course I am also keeping a line there that we know that the glass has some kind of thickness, but also for both of these glass dishes, I was trying to just implement the colors that we see in the piece and just adding a little bit of a darker color, like the ice cream frog has a little bit of a dark purple in there, even though the frog itself doesn't. But it is always tricky with the glass to make it look like glass if there isn't any surrounding things, if since I'm not drawing a background, then I don't have any colors or things to fill in this glass, so I just have to work with imagination kinda. And of course the subject or the little dessert frogs that are in there, those are the colors that we can use. I hope you got what I was trying to say, but it is always a little bit of a tiny challenge to figure out where things would go because of all the reflections and everything, and I always get confused for the bottom part, and I think I overdid it a little bit for the first frog. So for the second one, I am trying to be a little less hectic with it and adding a bit less detail, or I guess a little less colors. I really love how tiny and cute and like almost squished this little cherry frog looks like. I don't know, I like how cute it is. And you know, another thing I did was to go for a lighter base for the cherries, almost this really light pink, just so we can have more of that reflection thing going on. So whenever I start with something that has a reflectiveness in it, I do this technique where I put a lighter color just so that it is easier to make it look more reflective or shiny, because then you don't have to go over with a lot of other colors, lighter colors, and you never know. Usually acrylic markers are really nice to overlay, especially onto like darker parts, but it's just easier for my brain to figure everything out if I start with something that's lighter. But yeah, for these frogs, I again finished with my purple pencil, not the one at the start, but a different one. I will add it in the description. And to finish it off, I decided to add a little dark purple for the end, just to add a little color pop. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think. Which dessert is your favorite? I'm thinking the ice cream one is my favorite, but just because I really love ice cream. Anyways, also don't forget to check out my store if you're interested in the new keychains and the new pins. I'm super excited about that, and of course there's lots of other things. So I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hold me tightly like I was there and whisper softly in your ear that everything is gonna